Tommy Grisafi with Advanced Trading, our guest today. Tommy, we've been watching interest rates and the conversation around them very closely. There's talk now maybe we can move a 0.5 percentage point in March. Talk a little bit about the yield curve and what that's telling us.
Oh, there's so much. There's a lot going on. So the last few days, the United States bond market took away a couple of those 0.25%. You got part of the people out there saying, I hear the Fed's going to raise rates. But the bond market, when we talk about the yield curve, we're talking about 2-year note, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 30 year. You talk about that yield curve and that slope. And so the 2 and 5 year yields have absolutely exploded. There's another contract people should look at. 2 other contracts to remember in Google. Chicago Board of Trade Fed funds and Eurodollars at the CME Group. Those contracts have already priced in 5 to 6 quarter-point moves. Now, with the risk off the last few days, they took back 2 of those quarter-point moves. So you've seen the 10-year go as high as almost 2.10, and we're back down to 1.88 in the 10-year yield. So this risk off, the bond market moves long before the Fed does. And people are saying, hey, war's probably not a good thing for world economies. You really think the Fed needs to raise 7 quarter points? And we're starting to come back a little bit. So that yield curve has been very dynamic, and the professional traders watch that. Watch your relationship to 2s to 5s, 2s to 10. If that 2-year yield goes higher than the 10, that usually is a sign for trouble, my friend.
Tommy, as you look at the overall conversation around interest rates, does it worry you going into 2022 that we could see pressure on the overall economy?
I mean, it would be good for grandma to be able to get something, right? So it depends on what seat you're sitting in. As someone, if you have a mortgage and you owe a lot of money, you're not going to like it. But you also have to understand, Clinton, you have a mortgage on an asset, and that asset is inflating. I just heard a statistic today. Home values in the Arizona, Phoenix area went up 38% last year. Hey, if you got a mortgage on that and it goes from 3% to 4%, do you really care? So it's a real big tax on people who owe a lot of money. But then you have to ask, the things you owe the money on, those assets are going up, my friend.
All right. Appreciate it, Tommy. Thank you so much for the perspective. We'll be back with more Ag Day coming up in just a minute.
Interested in spending a day with a trader? Call Tommy Grisafi at 800-664-4383.